budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
Hello, I am not in California. I'm not in New York. I'm not in Japan. I'm not in Germany. I'm not in London. I am in Cape Town and I'm about to drive my first ever Tesla. And I'm extremely excited. A huge thank you to Rubicon for making this happen. Right, let's go. So you might be asking yourself, why is this car here? Well, Rubicon is the official distributor of Tesla PowerWalls in South Africa and the associated energy products from Tesla. And basically, this is probably the most effective rolling billboard that you can imagine. I mean, you know, if an electric BMW goes past, I mean, that's relatively interesting. But if a Model X goes past, well, then all the cameras come out and, you know, and the owner sees himself on TikTok half an hour later. So that's one of the primary reasons. Also, Rubicon is working quite closely with government to try and convince them that, well, all of this is a good idea and that they should bring the taxes down on these cars, because Rubicon had to pay 90% of the purchase price of this vehicle in taxes to bring it into the country. And then of course they also use it for road shows. They go around with all of the installers of their Powerwalls and they do sort of client presentations and that sort of thing. And it seems to be a very effective sales tool when you rock up in a Model X with Falcon Doors. So I think it's been worth it for them. It sounds like it's definitely been worth it. And the owner of Rubicon obviously uses this pretty much as his daily driver, and he's also touring the country with it, proving that you can drive an electric vehicle around South Africa. He's literally taken this car all around the country and very kindly met up with us here in Cape Town. So on to the question you're probably all dying to know: what is it like to drive? Okay, so that's 40 k's an hour, foot flat. Whoa! And 120. Ah, what? No, something this big should not move that quickly. Oh my word. That'll make you sick. In fact, the owner was telling me actually he's already had 4 people throw up in this car. Well, not in it. They got out first, thankfully. And but yeah, that acceleration will definitely make you nauseous. Wow, that's ridiculous. And you know, the thing is, the power delivery is so different to an internal combustion engine, because in any ICE engine, especially a turbocharged one, you know, you're waiting for that torque and all that power to sort of come on. Whereas this, all the torque and power is available pretty much at 0 RPM. So it's absolutely instant. Gosh, that is impressive. This is the model which used to be known as the P100D, but as of 2020, it's now just known as the Model X Performance. It's got 2 motors, one on each axle, and they've got some serious firepower. You're looking at about 568 kilowatts of power in this car. I mean, that puts, you know, your top end Ferraris to shame. 780 horsepower. On the back axle, you've got about 500 horsepower, about 280 on the front. And that makes this thing an absolute rocket ship. So 0 to 100 in ludicrous plus mode takes just 2.6 seconds, which makes this not only one of the fastest SUVs, no, this must be the fastest SUV on the planet, but it makes it one of the fastest cars full stop on the planet. I mean, if you go on the channel and you look at our Porsche Turbo S video, we managed to get that car from 0 to 100 in 2.6 seconds. So you're looking at an SUV here which weighs 2.5 tons, which can seat 7 people if you want, and it's doing the same 0 to 100 time as Porsche's fastest car. Yeah, this thing is quick. This is a really quick car. Right, let me give you a tour of the interior. Really lovely leather seats, beautiful Alcantara headliner, massive screen in the middle, obviously 2 drinks holders over here, bit of storage space. Let me show you the key. So that is, you get 2 of these with your Tesla. It's got all these secret buttons sort of in there. That's how you open the Falcon wing doors. So that's actually your car key. But of course, then you also have the Tesla app, which has a lot of features built in as well. I'll show you that in a second. Little secret compartment over here. Well, not too secret, some more drinks holders in there. But this is the exciting part. So obviously a massive map, and then you can start going into all of your options. So there's a thing called Toy Box, and you can put it into romance mode, get cozy. So this will turn on a fireplace for you, and it'll start playing Barry White at some point. You can drive on Mars if you like. One of the coolest parts though is if you go to entertainment, you've got a bunch of arcade games. So let's play some Asteroids. Now the controls for the game are the controls for the car. So you play, and then you get your little rock. This is Asteroids. This is the actual Atari game. So look, as I steer, my little guy moves around. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, I died. And then you shoot with a little button on the steering wheel. So, you know, if you need to kill a little bit of time while you're charging, or I don't know, while you're waiting for the kids to finish school, you can just play some Asteroids, you know, with your steering wheel. Ah, survived. Oh, big one coming. Big one. Ah. Oh, that's a lot of fun. Let's go into your vehicle settings. So that's everything. You can open the trunk, close the trunk, all the front trunks, all the rest of it. Close your Falcon wing doors. Here's your autopilot, lights, navigation, software. If you go into the software release notes, you can see everything that they've updated in the latest software release. So if you're overseas, there's a SIM card buried in the dashboard somewhere if you're in the UK, for instance, and that'll give you your data services. But in South Africa, you just use your Wi-Fi. So you can put a dongle in the car, or you can connect your Wi-Fi at home. That's how you get all of your software updates. And there are many software updates all the time. It's like you go to bed one night, or you wake up, you get in your car, and you've got a new feature to use. It's pretty exciting how that works. I mean, it can even go so far as they can improve the braking performance of the car with the software updates. It's a really different way of building cars. You know, in the past, if you wanted to upgrade a car, I mean, very many cars for a very, very long time couldn't be upgraded, even if you did go to the dealership. It's a totally different philosophy, a totally different approach to building cars. The only 2 buttons on the entire dashboard, and I think this is actually mandated by law, is your hazards. So that has to be a physical button. And then this over here is your cubbyhole. That's it. Those are all the buttons you get on the car. Very clean interior, really beautiful, very beautifully put together. I know Tesla's come in for a lot of criticism for build quality, but this particular unit is really well put together. I can't see a single issue with build quality or material quality or anything of that nature. Very fun. Oh, one last thing. Open butthole. Open battle. Charge port open. So you can say open hole or open butthole, and it'll open the charging port. Oh man, I don't think I'd ever get tired of that. So you don't actually have to go close each door individually. Just hit the lock button on the key. That's good fun. And then if you want to open again, double tap on the key, should unlock the vehicle, and then there's your front door, and there's your Falcon. That is so cool. That really feels like the future. Let's take a look at the boot. Now we just had the Jaguar I-Pace on test, and that's a car which actually costs a bit more than this if you took taxes into account, maybe roughly around the same price. A little bit smaller than this as well, but what I noticed about that car was it had a particularly small boot, especially when the spare wheel was inside. And compare that to this. Look at the size of that boot. It's absolutely massive. And that's not all. You get a huge amount of load space underneath there as well. I mean, you could probably fit a whole set of golf clubs in your golf bag just in there. It's like a coffin almost. And then in there as well, which comes standard with the vehicle, is the tow bar, which you just clip in over there. And if you think, oh, well, you know, I'm going to buy an electric car, I'm not going to be able to tow anything, this thing will tow up to 2.5 tons. It's got incredible pulling power. So it really does become a very usable, very practical car. So according to the official figures on the net, at least, according to the EPA test cycle done in the States, you're looking at a range of 520 kilometers on this massive 100 kilowatt hour battery. Now, the owner's been telling me that on his road trips, he's been able to get pretty close to that number, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little bit less. But theoretically, you should be able to actually push this, if you drive very conservatively, to 580 kilometers. Now, if you think about it this way, think about a car which offers you somewhere near the performance of this car. So a very fast SUV would maybe be the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. That's a very quick car. Mercedes GLC 63 is a very quick car. The Range Rovers, your Audi RSQ8, these are all quick SUVs. And if you push those cars, even if you drive them conservatively, I can guarantee you, based on personal experience, you will not get 500 Ks on a tank. So to me, this idea of range anxiety, this concern around it, is a bit curious, because these cars are already outperforming internal combustion engine cars, ICE cars. They're already better in terms of what you can get on a full charge. Now, yes, the argument is that I could pull into this petrol station right here in my Range Rover or my Alfa Romeo, and I could refill the tank in 5 minutes. And yes, at the moment in South Africa, that's not possible in an electric car. We only have 60 to 80 kilowatt hour charging infrastructure. However, in the States, you've got 250 kilowatt superchargers, and that charges this thing up in minutes. I mean, let's say you just need 100 Ks of range to, get home or whatever the case is. You're looking at 5 minutes to get that 100 Ks of range in using a supercharger. You're looking at 20, 30 minutes to fill up the battery. So that's where this is going, and I always tell people, think about the early days of cell phones, when the cell phone was the size of a brick and the battery lasted about 16 minutes. And now look at your cell phone and how incredibly capable it is and how long lasting it is, unless you have an iPhone. iPhone joke, don't be offended. But that's where electric cars will go. There will always be advancements. Things will always get better. It'll always get quicker. And I think overseas, these conversations almost don't need to happen anymore. But in South Africa, of course, they need to happen. We do live in a different country. We do live in a country which has power issues. But I think the way you need to think about electric vehicles and how you live with them is that, you go home at night and you plug your cell phone in and you wake up in the morning, you got a full battery. And if you have a Tesla wall box in your house, which ideally you would have if you're owning a car like this and running a car like this, I can guarantee you that if you get home, you plug it in at night, by the time you wake up in the morning, you're going to have a full battery. There really shouldn't be any concern around charging this vehicle, especially if you're charging it at home. Another concern that gets raised with me all the time is that Eskom simply doesn't have enough capacity to power all these electric cars. Well, the reality is that while we're all sleeping, we're not really using the electricity on the grid very much. There is actually quite a lot of capacity available at night to charge all of our electric cars. So that's also not really a concern for me either. Whoa, okay. That was maybe about 1 centimeter of throttle that I used there. And it gives you that sort of like butterflies in your stomach feeling in terms of acceleration. This thing in ludicrous mode must be, ludicrous, I suppose. I think they really went after the, very descriptive name there. That's what Tesla was after. So a topic that comes up is how much cheaper are electric cars to run than petrol-powered cars or diesel-powered cars. And the discussion sort of has to happen in sort of two ways. So first of all, there's maintenance, and essentially on an electric car, there is none. And that's one of the major financial or economic advantages of electric powertrains, is that there are so few moving parts, there's so little to go wrong, that essentially you go in once a year with the car and they just check your brakes and that there's nothing, nothing untoward on the suspension system or anything like that, just to make sure that the car is safe for another year, basically. And Tesla recommends changing your brake pads every 200,000 kilometers, mostly just because of old age. Because of the regeneration, you're not really using your brake pads, and the engine is actually, or the motor rather, is actually bringing the car to a stop. And you sort of get used to it. When you drive an electric vehicle, you actually start driving it with one foot, because your accelerator pedal becomes your brakes as soon as you come off of the gas, so to speak. The gas, that's not the right word at all, is it? And you really do adapt quite quickly. I think there's some nervousness around motorists who have only ever driven ICE cars, and I must be honest, I must say you really do adapt very quickly to driving an electric vehicle. It's a very natural feeling. I'm of the opinion that an electric car is the best commuter car you can buy. Monday to Friday, you want to be in an electric car. It's just an extremely relaxing, extremely smooth experience, motoring experience. And yes, on the weekend, I think you might want an ICE engine car to go for a bit of a blast, something a bit old school, something a bit more visceral. But Monday to Friday, I don't think it gets much better than this. I've been following the Tesla story for years, maybe a decade now, watching all the videos online, dying to drive a Tesla. It feels fantastic to have driven one, a real highlight of my career. And after driving one, it's not hard to see why these cars have changed the world of motoring. And I really hope the day comes very, very soon where us South Africans can buy one of these cars. Tesla, are you listening? Elon, anyone? Can we get these here soon, please? Thanks very much for watching. Do you like clothes? I do. This is available right now on our Sentimental shop. Just go to Cars.co.za/shop or look for the description in the link below. See what I did there? Just trying to catch you out. And we've got tons of exclusive merchandise which is designed and made exclusively for our store. I said exclusive twice because it's very exclusive. Also hats.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.